Hello, hi everybody. I'm Tony E at Show IP Interface Brief, and this is my CCIE or Bust extravaganza. My attempt number 3 at the CCIE route switch exam, and this was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun. I I had a much different sense of calm this time around, and I want to talk about that a little bit. But I think this is going to be a pretty close attempt. I am pretty excited about the results, even if I fail, which would be sad but not disastrous, right? I can still come back from this. There's still time left. February 24 is the cutoff. So if I fail, it's okay. Hopefully, God willing, will let me have one more try. At least I know my wife will let me have one more try. She said so. Thank you, honey. So, but if we pass, then what a sigh of relief I'm going to breathe. So most people have sort of heard me describe the test, and most people know about the CCIE. You know, it's 3 sections. The first section is troubleshooting. Second section is diag. Third section is config. There's different topologies to play with, you know, and anyone who sort of talks about their experience has to be, you know, pretty vague because we don't want to break NDA, right? When you break NDA, you can receive like a suspension, I think, or something. I don't know, but I'm sure it is frowned upon. So I'm going to try and share some experiences without giving any details away of my exam. But I just kind of want to make it a little bit fun. So I'm going to call this section Story Time with Uncle Tony. So what you guys don't know, and in my past videos, was different things have like happened at each of my exams, and I tried to write them all down here on different things. So this exam, my third exam, let me see. My third exam, I got through troubleshooting, and I began the diag section, and I'm working my way through the diag. And the diag only had sort of like 2 scenarios this time, and I accidentally closed my diag window thinking it was one of my artifacts that I had on the screen, which means my screen went back to a completely blank desktop. My exam was gone. It wasn't there. And there was just a minor moment of panic, like, oh my God, have I just forfeited my exam? Am I done for? Is this over with? And like everything else that the CCIE prepares you for is, if there's one thing the CCIE prepares you for, it's expect the unexpected, right? So as soon as I overcame my panic, which only lasted a moment, you know, I quickly got up and went over to the proctor and said, you know, hey, I accidentally closed my diag section. Can you help me out? Because I know that sometimes they can like reset your test or recover your session or whatever. And he, you know, calmly said, it's no big deal. Let's go back to your lab station and get logged in again. And I was able to launch the little icon in the shortcut on the desktop, get logged in, and pick up right back where I was. So that was these things happen, these moments that you cannot prepare for. I've done now probably thousands and thousands of hours of labbing collectively to prepare for my CCIE, and that's one of the things you can't lab, which is just like closing your lab down accidentally and trying to recover from it. It's just one of those things that sort of happens in the moment, and it happens. On my first attempt, actually, I closed down. I closed one of my sections and I forgot which one, and I had to get it reopened for me. These things happen. I've heard a lot of people, say that they've accidentally closed things, and a lot of people who have taken their CCIE and passed have written blogs, and they talk about how they accidentally closed something and forfeited their exam, or not really forfeited, but thought that they did, and they were able to get recovered. First of all, I want to take a moment and thank everybody who has supported me throughout this journey. It has really been an amazing journey, and the learning isn't over yet. That's the incredible thing. If I happen to pass this time, I will feel like I'm not ready. You know what I mean? I feel like there's so much that I don't know. There's so much more that I still have to learn. If I pass this time, I don't know if I'll be ready to accept it. I'm sure my wife and my family, and I will happily accept it. I will take it. But deep down inside, there's just so much more to learn. So I want to thank everybody throughout this journey, because people have come to me with different topology questions and scenarios and lab things, and it's made me really sit back and sort of rethink what I'm doing and help them solve their problem, which helps me teach myself. And without this awesome community that we have, I don't think I would have been able to push myself as hard or as far. Without all of you guys, I probably would have, I don't know if I would have given up, but I certainly wouldn't have gone as hard. It's kind of like when you're running, when you're out there running by yourself, the only person that's stopping you and slowing you down is yourself. But when you have a running partner and there's someone that can run shoulder to shoulder with you, you kind of always sort of try and edge each other out, right? You always try and get that shoulder in front, you know what I mean? And having that helps push you a little bit further. And that's what all of you do in the community, for me and for each other. Everyone's trying to sort of shoulder themselves in front a little bit, and it helps to keep the momentum going and keep the flow downstream. So I want to thank everyone who's joined me tonight, everyone who's in the community. Big shout outs to the Land Tamer. If it wasn't for Land Tamer, he and I have been out for a long time. I see him in the chat. Lab Every Day has been a huge influence on the community, just spreading positivity everywhere. It is really awesome and pure, and we got to thank everybody for that. And so many other people who are leaders in the industry. The networking community that we have here, I don't want anyone to take it for granted, because it's something that's pretty special. I'm part of a couple other communities, I call them communities, but groups, or I guess they are communities. Like the InfoSec community is really big in most forms of social media. But there's always a large amount of sort of toxicity in the InfoSec community, and it doesn't have to be that way, but it exists, and that's one of the things that we don't have yet in the networking community, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. So we sort of keep that negativity out and just keep this bubble of positivity around ourselves and all of us. So I just wanted to thank everybody. It has really been awesome. But everyone knows what the CCIE is like, so I want to share another story. This one is a really funny story, so let me share it. On my second attempt at CCIE, it was in Richardson, Texas. All three of my attempts have been in Richardson, Texas. My second attempt, there was one fella. There's about, the room seats 16 people, I think. So there was one fella sitting there sort of towards the front of the class is the CCIE collaboration station. It has headphones and stuff. And there was this one guy, and we had worked, we had gotten, on my second attempt, I don't know if you guys remember, but Cisco's network was down. It went down till about 10:30 a.m. Then we can finally start our exam. So once we finally started, right, we got to do the same flow: troubleshooting, then diag, and then config. So we get started our troubleshooting section, and everyone is, sort of in that tunnel vision. And anyone who's taken the CCIE knows what I'm talking about. There are two large screens in front of you. I think maybe 22, maybe 24-inch monitors. And that's all that exists in that room when you're taking your exam. It's those monitors and you, and everyone else is just sort of in the blur, right? Or is in the fringes. You don't even hear them. You don't see them. And all you hear is just everyone furiously typing, and no one's making a sound. And everyone works through their troubleshooting section on my second attempt. And as we get about late into the morning, when we would be approaching a lunch break, sort of, I guess, around the diag section, out of nowhere, there is a foreign sound that breaks the silence, and it's... And all of us have tunnel vision, and we don't know what's going on, and it doesn't sound like typing on a keyboard. It doesn't sound like a computer, so we all poke our heads up like prairie dogs. And we all look, and for me, this guy was sitting in front. He was sitting in front. This fella fell asleep in his CCIE collaboration exam. He fell asleep. And he sat there just kind of like with his eyes closed and his chin propped up on his chest. And he didn't snore the entire time, but he occasionally would let out a like that. And so all of us would poke our heads up, and the proctor took notice to this. And he went over and gave him a little nudge on the shoulder. And the guy woke up. And he said, huh? And he looked at the proctor, and the proctor said, hey, you okay? And the guy said, yeah, no problem. And he put his headphones on for the collaboration exam and just started typing away. And it was kind of funny just because when you're in that situation, you don't expect to hear snoring. That is pretty bad. But then I tried to think about it a little deeper, and I realized the only way you are going to sleep in your CCIE exam is if you have a real problem, either a medical issue or there is a real problem for you that's made you fall asleep. Nobody else is going to be sleeping in that exam. I have never heard another story of someone else sleeping. That was an interesting exam. Also, on my second time, we're talking about CCIE lab blunders, the great blunders that I've experienced in my 3 lab attempts. As I was getting ready to start my configuration section, first of all, when I did my diag section on my attempt number 2, I didn't know how many questions were going to be asked of me. So I had one scenario with a number of questions on it, and I answered those, and I moved on to the next scenario with a number of questions on it, and I was watching the time, and you only have 30 minutes for your diag. And when that timer stops, you're done, answers in or not. So I was pacing myself for that second scenario all the way down to about the last second or two. And I didn't submit, but I finished my question for the last one, and there was another button at the bottom of that said, next question. So I didn't share the story last time. I just completely didn't think of it. I didn't do the third scenario of diag last time, but I did pass diag last time. On my second attempt, on my first attempt, let me back up so I can give you the full scope. On my first attempt, I got pass, fail, fail. On my second attempt, I got pass, pass, fail. You see the trend here? Let's hope we get the 3 Ps this time. Let's hope we get that. But anyhow, for my second attempt, the diag, when I tried to time myself for the last question, and when I thought I had the last question, really there was another scenario to answer. So what tells me is that I passed that section, that I must have got the questions in those first 2 scenarios right, and whether or not I answered the last one didn't really matter. Which was unbelievable to me. I did not, yes, there are 4 Ps. Thank you. There's pass, 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 and then your overall pass, fail. So I guess that's right. I'm not hoping for 3 Ps, to be clear. I want 4. I want all 4 Ps. So yeah. Okay, so now my third attempt. This one went off without a hitch. Cisco's network wasn't down. There wasn't an issue. The hotel that I stay at has a shuttle that buses us right over to Cisco campus. It's like a 1-mile drive, but it's across the highway. So instead of walking there, I take the shuttle. I had planned to take the shuttle. I let front desk know, hey, I need a shuttle to Cisco building number 5 at 7:45 a.m. I was down there eating breakfast like we all do. We all get ready. And I ate breakfast, and I realized something wasn't sitting right in my stomach. So I had to use the restroom. And when I got out of the restroom, I was running out the door with my bags just in time to see the shuttle pulling away. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? So I went back to the front desk, which is what was right behind me, and said, "Hey, the shuttle just left, but I'm supposed to be on it. You have to give me a ride." And she was like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll call him." And she was able to call the guy. He was able to turn around. He had to get back on the highway and turn around. It took about 5 minutes. So I lost my, I missed my shuttle, which a lot of people say, that's why I rent a car when I go down there. I don't rent cars when I go down there because I don't want the extra headache, responsibility, or anything else interrupting my, my sort of mental prep for the CCIE lab. So I rely on the shuttle, but that only works if you're there to catch it. So I missed my shuttle. That's how the start of my morning went. But when I got to Cisco, everything started off without a hitch. There was a great group of people. Let me show you this image. This was our group here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me know in the chat. I'm there on the left, should be the left of your screen. My buddy gave me this shirt just days before, let's see if I can make this a little bigger. Just days before me leaving, which says, "I'm just here for the food." And why that's kind of funny is when you don't pass the CCIE, it's known as the $1,600 lunch. And it isn't necessarily that good. It's a deli sandwich. So it's kind of a joke. I'm just here for the food. It's one of the most expensive sandwiches you will ever buy. And now I've bought 3 of them. So I should get like a punch card, for like if you buy 4 sandwiches, you get the 5th one free. So anyhow, this exam, my 3rd attempt, I told you I accidentally closed down my diag section. Let me tell you about how the lab started out after we were invited into the testing room. Everything went as normal. It was a good group of people. I was happy to be there. When I arrived at the testing center, actually, there was about 10 people sitting in the lobby, and they were all sitting there kind of quietly. Everyone was looking at their phones or looking down at the ground. It was like an eerie silence. There wasn't much going on. And I remember I came in with my luggage and my backpack and coffee and water and stuff, and I'm kind of like that loud, annoying guy coming in. And I sat down and just, I just asked the whole crowd, how's everybody feel? How does everybody feel? Because for some reason, I felt so calm this time. I was nervous, sure, but I was overwhelmed with just sort of calm and like, I don't know, maybe a little bit of adrenaline. I was just ready to party. And here's something that you guys kind of don't know is this was actually my throwaway exam. And what I mean is I paid for this one in full, just like I did the last one. It was my throwaway exam because all of the seats scheduled between now and February 24th are mostly already full. And I scheduled this exam more than a month ago. I paid for it, scheduled it, and this was my test. But between a month ago and this week, I really didn't have that much time to study. And I expected to do poorly. I am expecting to do poorly. Whereas leading up to my 2nd attempt, I busted my ass here, labbing every fucking night. Lab for hours and hours and hours. And this time, I just haven't had that much time in my life to allow myself to study and get some big labs in. So there wasn't an opportunity for me to move my exam. It was take it now or don't take it at all. There was no other dates to be offered. So I call this my throwaway because regardless of whether or not I was prepared, I had to take it. And it was an expensive price to pay. I should have been prepared, but my life just didn't afford me that this month. So that's what it was. This was my throwaway. And I think that kind of that was the thing that provided me my tranquility. I kind of felt calm, and why I just kind of came into the testing center like, hey, let's all see how everyone feels. And I'm sure the other candidates didn't appreciate it. They were all probably on edge and nervous, but this was my throwaway one. So anyhow, so we get to take we get to the testing center, we sit down, we start labbing, and immediately you start the troubleshooting section. And as soon as I opened the troubleshooting section, you're greeted with the topology. And immediately I knew, oh crap, I've done this one before. I immediately recognized my topology. And some people would say, oh man, that's great. You've already done this one. You have an advantage. Well, yes, this is the one I did on my first try. I ended up getting it. But if you remember from my first attempt, I told you I got a topology that was so freaking hard, nobody can solve it. Well, I started to panic because I was like, this is the hard one. No one can beat this. No one can do this. This one's too hard. How can I ever? I'm not going to pass this time. This is the impossible topology. But I started chiseling away at the tickets. And I tried to use the advice like so many others have given me. My friend Ben Gamble and so many others from the Router Gods. They say when you start your troubleshooting section, give yourself 5 minutes per ticket. And when that 5-minute timer hits, move on to the next ticket, whether it's done or not. You'll come back around to it. There will be enough time if you do it and move on. So I started that. 5 minutes for the first ticket, 5 minutes for the second ticket, and I worked my way through it. And I got through an entire run with about half of them solved. That was a pretty good feeling. And about half the time. So I was able to circle back around and start chiseling away at it. So if I make a prediction right now, my troubleshooting section, I am confident that I got a pass on it, and I'm confident that I got 8 out of 10 tickets, maybe 9 out of 10 tickets. So that's what I'm really hoping for here. I feel really good about that one. Now, as everyone knows, in these exams, these CCIE exams, the diagnostic section, I despise the diagnostic section. I absolutely can't stand it. This time, when I saw the diagnostic section, I actually enjoyed it. This was actually a diagnostic section that was maybe not 100% networking related, but more understanding the network operations. I'm trying to be, actually intentionally vague, but let's just say it wasn't necessarily about solving router configs and adjacency problems, right? I consider that like very specific networking stuff. This is more about the broader picture. Something has happened. You have very little evidence. Can you figure it out? And this was actually fun because it's more along the lines of sort of what I do in my free time, which is like participate in InfoSec, the security community CTFs. I love doing security CTFs. This was more along the lines of that, and it was really a lot of fun. So I feel, if you guys are keeping track, I feel confident I got a pass on troubleshooting. I also feel confident I got a pass on Diag. I felt very confident about my answers. I feel very strong, and it was very familiar to me. What up, Dimitri? I got Phil Parr in the house. So many others here. I see a Benjamin here. A lot of people. Chris is in the house. D Bizzle, 802 Top Hat. Man, you guys... Mel Gardner, awesome. So now I'm coming up for my configuration section. My configuration section, when I started it, immediately you are greeted with the topology. And I knew at that moment, the panic set in. The absolute sheer panic set in because this was the topology that I had the first time around. That when I walked out of the exam on my first time, I was just like, what the hell? Like, no wonder they call this an expert exam. This thing is impossible. And I saw this topology this time. And immediately I had panic. And then immediately followed by that was just a sense of comfort. Like, you know what? I've done this before. This is going to be easy. Well, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. But I felt confident about it. I felt like this is my best shot. So I started banging at the keyboard. You knock out your different sections. There's a layer 2 section. I felt pretty good about my layer 2. I'm happy about that layer 2. Right now, I'm telling you, I'm happy about that. My section number 2 is sort of your IGPs, all your layer 3 stuff. I didn't complete all of my section 2 tasks. I hope I made up for it in the completion of my section 3s, which is like your MPLS VPN stuff, section 4s like services, section 5s infrastructure. I forget what the high level topics are. I went ahead and jumped down and did like sections 3, 4, and 5. And so I'm hoping that for the stuff that I did complete, that I have enough points in the bank and with a pass in troubleshooting and a pass in diagnostics, that this will be a pass. If it's not, I want to take the approach that I did last time, which has been, I don't want it to knock me down. After my first failure, I let it really knock me down and put me into a depression. After my second failure, I said, I do not want to let that happen to me again. And I have not let that happen to me. And I will not let this happen to me this time. If I fail because I earned this failure. Because I could have tried harder, I could have studied more, and I could have made this a higher priority for myself. But if I passed, I'll take it. All right, so this is why we're all here. Let me get logged into my Cisco account. I'm going to cover up my screen so I don't see it, and I'm going to get my kids to read it off because that's sort of become our tradition. My kids are so excited to have me pass. They've been asking me to check my results since I got home. All right, so when I click over, I can't see anything. I hope everyone follows along with me. I am so nervous right now. I've been talking probably a mile a minute. I need to drink some water. I'm sweating over here. I'm nervous. My heart is racing. Unbelievable. All right, username in. Page expired. What the hell? Let me back it up. Wait, what's going on here? No. This is the wrong thing. Hang on. I got to grab my email. My email has the link for the CCIE thing. Sorry to make everyone wait, but it'd be like that. All right, got the link highlighted. I'll put it in here, paste, enter. My username is in. All right, password time. I actually wrote it down ahead of time this time so I don't. All right, I'm just gonna put my hand over the screen. So I'm just gonna make sure I get logged in. I'm gonna go grab the kids. All right, it says CCIE tracker. I'll be back. Teddy Dina. Hey. Will you guys read for me? You know what to do? All right, come here.
I can't.
All right, come back there.
Oh, I know what it says. It says fail.
Let's see. So, where is it supposed to say again? Right.
What does it say? I can't see.
Fail. Where else does it say?
Oh my God.
I knew you were gonna fail.
I love you. I love you. Let's take a look at what the results really are. Thank you, guys. I love you. That means that we got to do it one more time. One more time.
Unless if that doesn't pass.
All right. Let's see. Actually, the thing didn't. The page didn't load with its typical format.
This is my username.
Let me look at my score report. It says lab site, Richardson, and it says CCIE number, not certified. Wait a second. What the fuck? You guys can't see this. Hang on a second. Oh my God. Oh my God. You won't believe this. I'm going to take a screenshot so I can share this with you if I can. Just going to have to do this sort of in a roundabout way. Bear with me, please. Bear with me. You still there? Everyone's still there? Still with me? Hang on. I think I know the screen went black. Hang on. I'm back. Hang on. I really can't see the chat. I don't know if you guys are telling me you can see me or not. I have my other windows covering it up. But I want to share this screenshot with you. I'm just going through my files to pick it up. PQRS. I got to say out the alphabet so I know where it is. All right, will this work? Damn it. All right, I'm going to make it go black again. Okay. Great new. All right, wait for it, wait for it. I'm trying here. Okay. All right, let's see. Oh, can you see that? Jesus Christ, man. I got them 3 P's, yo. God dang. But you know what? This is amazing. This is so amazing. I can't believe it. This is so amazing. I got the 3 P's. I got the 3 P's. This is so amazing because I felt so calm this time. You know what I mean? I felt so calm and confident, and I was just like, this is an unusual feeling, and it has paid off, man. Each time I get better. My first attempt, I only passed troubleshooting. Then my second attempt, I passed troubleshooting and diag. And now my third attempt, troubleshooting, diag, and the freaking configuration. I just need one more P. This is so funny. It's okay. You know why? I feel great about this. I feel, you know why this is a good feeling, guys? This is super embarrassing for me to be sharing all of my failures with the world, with 83 of you and whoever else is gonna watch this. But it would be even more embarrassing if I did worse than my previous attempts. So that's why this is amazing, because I keep having this upward trend. You know what I mean? I'm happy about it. I mean, that's the outcome that I've earned. You know what I mean? That I've earned this. So, yeah, it's not a failure, dude. This is huge success. This is a huge success. Progress is progress. I love it. What's up, Bozon? Phil Parr. Brussels has February 20th open. Okay, so here's what my wife told me. Before I left home and went for my exam, she said, so, what happens if you don't pass? And I said, well, I'd like to do one more attempt. And she goes, so when do they stop doing your test? And I say, February 24. And she goes, okay, so how about you do one more attempt and then stop for 6 months? And I happily oblige. So she has been, not just she, but also my kids have been awesome troopers through this experience, which is why I try to include them in this, because the results that I earn aren't just my results. It's for them, it's for the whole family. It's for everybody. So I want everyone to be part of the moment that I pass. I want everyone to be a part of that. And so she told me I can have one more try. And then I have to stop for 6 months. And I think that is more than fair and probably due. If I don't pass it before February 20th, I'm going to need some time to back down, study new material, and give it a shot again. So I hope all of you will join me next time. It has been a blast, this whole journey. Oh my God. It has been something else. And I have all of you to thank for it, and my awesome family, my awesome wife, always supporting me, giving me the opportunity and the time to study as best I can without as many distractions as a man can have. We're a family of 5 and a household of 6. There's a lot going on here. And this is an incredible journey, but I love learning all this stuff. And occasionally I get to use most of it. All right, everyone. Thank you all. I love this. This has been great. See you Next time, CCIE or bust. This one is not yet. And I heart Richardson. Later, guys. See you next time.